But I'm going to read this out because this is a quote from it. The RTB report cites, in our view, the only lawful basis for business as usual RTB processing of personal data is consent. The core functionality in RTB systems that enables this profiling, processing, and use of personal data is the audience segment. A typical user would be in hundreds of audience segments. So the question is, would you say that the consent must be demonstrated for every user in every audience segment?
So it's worth going back to basics on this. So what do we regulate as a privacy regulator, and what does the GDPR regulate? It regulates personal data that relates to living individuals. And it is clear within GDPR, it talks around things like device identifiers as being personal data. So the key question there is, are you processing data that relates to living individuals, including things like device IDs? So if you visualize data flowing through, and our focus is in RT. In a minute, given it's about half the audience have read the report, I wonder if it's worth me stepping back a bit and just actually summarizing what's in the report. Otherwise, some people are in the dark. But as we see data flow through RTB from the point of collection onwards, at the point where data is being aggregated and is being blocked up and no longer relates to people, then that's not within our scope, and we're not worried about that. What we are worried about is when data is linked to the individual and the information is being inferred and qualities are being assigned to that person, because that's a personal data profile. So we are worried about that. So that's where the line of scope is. And we're very aware that in different use cases flowing across RTB, then sometimes data is being, the data set is being enriched and it's still personal data, and then at other points it's being aggregated and it stops being personal data. So that's where the boundary is.